What are they? Battle scars from defeating my gender. Honestly, saying this to get out of a conversation would be smart. But also, haven't we learned by now that we don't just point out or ask random questions about someone's body like this? Whether that's scars or, anything else. No, we haven't learned that. Okay. Well, anyways, these are pretty cool battle scars, you gotta be honest. Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some queer memes. I know we just did queer TikTok like 2 videos ago, but that's not gonna stop me. So we're doing queer memes today. But you know the deal, before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll check out some more memes. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's go. For the first 14 years of my life, I thought that the story of Saint Valentine and Valentine's Day were a celebration of massive gay polyamorous marriage, and let me tell you, I was sorely disappointed when I learned I had massively misunderstood that story. I was told the basic story of the king had made it illegal for young men to get married so that they could be drafted off to go to war, as married men with families were not, apparently, and that Saint Valentine thought this was cruel and married the young men in secret. What this was supposed to communicate to me was Saint Valentine's would marry young men to their girlfriends in secret as a priest at his own risk, and that's why we celebrate Valentine's Day. What I got, however, out of it was Saint Valentine married a shit ton of dudes so he could protect his army of husbands from having to go to war, and it was beautiful, and love can halt war in its tracks, and that's why we celebrate Valentine's Day. And that's why the assumption that a child would automatically get a hetero interpretation of the story and the innate unclarity of the English language made me think that Valentine's Day was a mass gay polymarriage until I was like 14 and recited the story to a friend who stared at me like I'd grown 3 extra heads. But I like my version better, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, is the original story still cute? To be like, no, listen, this is not right. You're in love, and if you want to get married, you should, so I'm gonna marry you in secret. Is it still cute? Yes. Do I like this person's story way better? Also, yes. It just kind of seems more wholesome and more full of love somehow than just marrying random people. To just be like, no, if I marry all of y'all and we all form one big polycule, then there won't be a war and there will just be love. It seems more wholesome, And also, kids generally learn new things every day, so they would probably not even be surprised at anything. That's why kids really don't care if you tell them what it means to be gay. If they're like, wait, why does my Uncle Bob always bring Steve? Does he have a wife? Why did we never see his wife? And you just be like, oh, well, actually, they're together, they're in love, they're, Steven is his wife. And the kid is just gonna be like, okay. And that's kind of this, but also at an extreme level. You didn't just learn something new at age 14, you had a really cool interpretation beforehand, actually. I just saw some lesbians get engaged at the grocery store at 8:30 on a Friday night. They were on the cheese aisle, and one of them reached into her pocket, and when she brought her hand out, the ring box fell on the ground. Her girlfriend was like, babe, something fell out of your... Oh my god. And the other girl also said, oh my god. The ring girl was like, And the not ring girl said, well, what are you waiting for? And she got on her knee in the cheese aisle, and the not ring girl said, yes, yes, and then they hugged and kissed and cried and then picked out a bunch of cheese anyway since they were there. This is wholesome. I get wanting to make a really special proposal and doing it on vacation somewhere or a really romantic spot. But listen, you guys apparently really love cheese. And you just really love this woman, so you're like, listen, I don't even care where I do it. And she was probably just rambling about her favorite cheeses, and you were like, fuck, I can't wait any longer. I'm just gonna propose to her right here. And I love it and I'm here for it. You two work well together. You work really well together. Tired. Mermaids are all women. Wired. Much like elves, Merfolk are mistaken by sailors for being all women because they have long hair and are very pretty. Inspired. Merfolk actually have very different concepts of gender to humans because they're an entirely different species with their own unique culture. Marine scientist. What's your gender? Merperson. Wait, what's a gender? Marine scientist. Are you a man or a woman? I'm Merfolk. No, but like, what's in your pants? I don't wear any. I don't have any legs. It's a biological fact that fish do indeed change their sex to keep the male to female ratio balanced in their school population. So this fluidity actually makes more sense from a scientific standpoint than the silly idea that Merfolk are born with a strictly assigned sex like humans. Merfolk are all canonically gender fluid and we love them for that. Human invites Merfolk friend to a boat party with their friends. Merfolk. Oh man, there are a lot of women here. Don't worry guys, I got this. Changes into a man to keep the balance because that's culturally polite for Merfolk. Human. Spit string. What the fuck? That just checks out. It also makes Nemo very incorrect. But anyways, we don't need to talk about that. But just, it'd be so funny. Like, I already appreciate that these gender fluid people, as well as probably most queer people, already kind of have this tendency to be very confusing to people, apparently. But just shifting right in front of their eyes like this would just confuse people to the max. And someone who's already done some other stuff at this party, you know, is probably just gonna think they're really high and seeing things when in fact that literally just happened. So yeah, we support our gender fluid Merfolk on this channel, I guess. Government wants trans people to detransition, so here's them chasing me to hot glue my berserkers back on. Like what's the plan here? What are they really gonna do? Okay, as funny as this meme is, because the actual idea of someone just like chasing someone, you know, with like a breastplate or something and just being like, no, you had boobs. God wanted you to have boobs, so we're gonna put boobs back on you. As silly as it seems, it's also a little bit too close to reality right now. It's the kind of thing that a few years ago would have been super funny because it was still like so far from reality that it just seemed absurd. And that's why it's funny, but it's getting too close to reality. Not literally someone chasing you down with like a breastplate or something, but you know, this, what's the plan here? And why is it a plan in the first place, really? You know what scares me? Parents allowing their kids to be trans. That's child abuse. Oh my god, let kids be kids. I know, exactly. In this case, it means to let trans kids transition so they get to enjoy their childhood instead of feeling broken and unloved because of who they are. Not allowing a trans kid to transition won't make them less trans, just miserable and distressed. That's child abuse. Because literally all this fear-mongering of, oh, they're gonna cut up all the children and force all the kids to be trans. No one's forcing anyone to be trans. Y'all are forcing trans people not to be trans. Or at least you're trying to. And failing very miserably, because that's really not how it works. Like, bullying trans people into not being trans is abuse. Same way that, like, any other kind of, you know, like, correction treatment, I forgot the word for it, like they do with gay people to make them straight, is literally just abuse, and it doesn't work. So, yeah, listen, no one is even giving hormones to children. They may be given, like, puberty blockers, which are completely reversible, and have been used on cis kids for years. You know, if they get, like, really early puberty to kind of put that off, because that would just, like, really be uncomfortable if they start their period at, like, age 6 or 7, you know? It's been used for years. But no, now that is like available, or should be available to trans kids, to give them more space to figure it out and more time to figure it out, then suddenly it's wrong. Okay, sure, because literally all that happens is maybe puberty blockers if this kid is even lucky enough to have access to them. Otherwise, it's just like maybe a different haircut or different clothes and being called a different name and pronouns. All of these things are completely reversible. So what are y'all so worried about, really? Because bullying your child into a version of them that you think they should be, that isn't who this child actually is just weird. Trans mess and trans femmes. Plausible deniability through alternative fashion. Actually, I first got into grunge in high school because my friend and I realized if we said it was grunge, we would get less shit about wearing boys' clothes. Meanwhile, my metamor got into metal in high school because she realized that if she said it was metal, she would get less shit about having long hair. And also, I feel like a lot of these kind of subcultures are generally just gonna be more accepting if you do come out. Because then you have like friends who are also into that kind of thing, and that is like more chill. Say with like punk people, for example. You know, like of course you're gonna have exceptions everywhere, but I feel like the general vibe and acceptance is probably gonna be more of a given than in like whatever other like places. So having that deniability is great in and of itself, because then you can just like try what makes you comfortable, and you can just pull the mom, it's not a phase, I really love metal, and they'll still think it's a phase, but it maybe won't be as hurtful as constantly having to hear, oh, but you look like a girl, you have to cut your hair. You know, because that's just like, oh, it's just this metal phase, it's fine, we're just gonna put up with it, I guess, you know? So, this will probably still work. Y'all, oh my god, I was just walking on the beach at night and I couldn't see a thing when I tripped over two girls laying in the sand together, and after apologizing profusely, this happened. I'm so sorry I interrupted your date. Girl 1, oh, this isn't a date, we're just friends, but thanks for not assuming though, cause we're actually both gay, lol. Me. Turning to girl 2, what's your name? Heather? Heather, sweetie, I'm sorry this dumbass is too dumb to realize she's on a date with you. What? What do you mean? What does he mean? Is this a date? Heather, yeah, I mean, I kinda hoped it was. Listen, finding useless lesbians in the wild is kinda funny. But listen, I kinda get it, because it can be really nerve-wracking to like get the nerve to ask someone out. So, especially like if you just started out as friends, just kind of randomly hanging out, and maybe you both find like the sound of waves really calming, so you decided to hang out at the beach together. Might be fair, but it still has something romantic, at least, you know? To kind of like sit there, maybe look at the stars a little bit, or, you know, you watch the sunset together and then you just like got caught up in your conversation. Sure, it can happen with friends, but the vibes are still kind of there. But then again, as I keep pointing out, all things that people point out are romantic, I would probably also do with my friends. So I get the confusion. I would be a useless lesbian too if I was a lesbian. Okay, if you get a cat, you will never get a man. Wait, cat equals no man. Okay. Man repellent. I like it. Or at least, like, creepy man repellent somehow. Like, kitties work wonders for that, so covering your house in kittens and just spending your time taking care of them will work. I mean, yeah, you will probably maybe also attract some lesbians, if you want, you know. But this will probably still work against men. Yeah, not to be a lesbian, but you know when you're kissing a girl and it's good and soft and she runs a hand through your hair and you feel her smile into the kiss? Fuck, I'm gay. That's... Listen, if there's one thing I appreciate about lesbians, it's just how much they appreciate women and how much They're just so open about it. And not in a just sexualizing women, kind of appreciating women, literally just appreciating women. And having that, like, immense soft spot for their partner, which, like, seems normal, like, you should, but lesbians just do it so well, you know? So I hadn't come out to my mom yet, and today I got home to see that someone had changed the cover on my bed to this. And then I saw they left a note on the bed, so I went over to take a look at it, and it's okay, I know you're gay. Love, Mom. My mom is the best. Whenever I see this, I think, well, what if you weren't gay and you come home to this one day? I feel like it would just be funny to you. Like, it would be a funny conversation to have with your mom. Like, just taking this note and going downstairs and like, Mom, I'm straight, but I appreciate it. You know, because, you know, it's a really sweet sentiment, but I'm really straight, Mom. And the mom's just like, oh well, you still got a new bed cover, deal with it. It'd be funny. And she might not believe you. And you might just be one of the straight people who is just very oblivious to the fact that they're not actually straight. But if you were actually, like, really straight, it'd just be funny, really. Getting misgendered by adults but universally correctly gendered by children makes me feel like some sort of fairy creature that's true form is only perceptible to children. I remember this one time I took my kid to the playground and there was this older kid, a little boy, probably around 6 years old, who asked me, so you're like a girl, right? And I replied, yeah, I am a girl. And then the 6-year-old nods their head thoughtfully and goes, cool. Do you like it? And I couldn't contain my laughter as I gave an enthusiastic, yes, very much so. To which they just said, that's cool. Kids are so funny. That's just... Kids don't give a shit. Kids don't care. They literally don't. But I mean, some kids will literally just, like, already be so stuck in this, okay, but my mom says if you have long hair, you're a girl, so you must be a girl, right? Even though you literally just do with long hair. Like, some kids are like that, but some kids are just smarter than that somehow. I don't know. Hi. Hey. Buying a new binder. What are you doing? Oh, nice. Staples? Close, King. Like a binder as in, trans. Wait, what makes a binder trans? Oh, googled it. They should call them something else. A squisher. A king squisher. That's just... That's funny. That's one way to come out to someone. Or maybe you're already out to this person, but they're just forgetful. You know, the kind of people that just like, well, you're a guy. I mean, what is everything else better, right? Like, you're a guy, you're my friend Ben, or whatever. And then just forget, and then just not have it click because they don't constantly think about the fact that you're trans. Or you really just came out to them. Either way, this reaction is nice and we love it. Reading skills. Pair work. Discuss which of these clothes and accessories are for girls, A, boys, B, both, C. Then share your ideas with the class. Listen, since it says share your idea with the class, there can't really be a wrong or right idea, right? Because this is your idea of all these, like joggers, cardigan, tie, bracelet, leggings, scarf, suit, necklace, skirt, long dress, earrings, and high heels could be worn by anyone, regardless of their gender. Because if you're a man who wants to wear a necklace and a long dress and high heels, go off. Go off. If you're a woman who likes to wear a suit and a tie, go off. Gender presentation, because yeah, people will associate these things to be masculine or feminine, but gender presentation does not equal gender. Two different things. So yeah, I would just agree that these are for both. And I'm not saying both as in everyone has to wear all of these things at some point. If you're a woman and you're like, no, I never want to wear a suit. I don't know, I really like feeling feminine and dresses make me feel really feminine, so I'm gonna stick to dresses. Cool. Not coming for it, just do whatever feels comfortable for you and not let a little sign in a store or like on a webpage determine whether or not you should try on or decide to wear certain clothes, you know? Aesthetic attraction is wild because it's like, yes, I'm asexual, but I'm also very gay and women are extremely hot. Okay, so basically to summarize, no sex, only sexy. Aesthetic attraction is the thing that throws a lot of people for a loop in figuring out they're asexual, because if you ask people what sexual attraction feels like, they'll just be like, well, I mean, you know if you feel it. And you obviously very clearly don't know, because you just know that this person looks attractive to you. It's usually just aesthetic, you know, or like sensual. Like you still want to like maybe, or romantic, like want to be close to them and maybe like cuddle or something, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint sometimes. But this summarization is probably helpful to some people. Okay, my nosy ass students found out I'm a lesbian and they're upset because I never told them, because they wasted their time looking for a man when they could have found me a girl by now. Laughing my ass off. I mean, listen, this is... I will let them be upset. Okay, because... why are they playing matchmaker? I don't get it, you know, but it's still kind of wholesome, because I'm like, damn, we just wanted to find you like a cute partner. Like, if we knew you were into women, we would have had so much more luck, you know? Like, anything else we need to know? Come on, like, give us some intel so we can find you a good match, you know? It's wholesome, it's very nosy, obviously, but it's still very wholesome. It's always interesting how trans people see that transition, because some people are like, I was a boy and now I'm a girl, and some are like, I was always a girl. And every once in a while you get a fun one like, I used to be a boy but the girl won. This vessel used to belong to a young man, but he had a weak will and gave in to my dark influence. Add a little bit of spice. You know, because the first two, totally fine, totally valid, but still kind of putting that spice in is also incredibly fair. Okay, person with a trans button. Person with a trans tattoo. Hey. Listen, the queer people are signaling to each other, because like a lot of people, if they're just like oblivious to queer people really, will not clock these, but trans people will know. And even if you don't normally pay too much attention, there's just something about these colors and these symbols that will catch your eye as a trans person. So, I actually have a trans tattoo, so I can't like flash mine, but if I had, I would. When I came out as trans, I had an old friend from my church days message me to congratulate me and ask for my name and pronouns. And I was shocked, to be honest, because he was such a head deep up the church's ass kind of guy, so I was super worried. After digging a little deeper, I found out that he was very supportive of transness, saying that trans men are men and trans women are women. But he also believed in the church's gender roles, meaning that trans women had to marry men and be submissive wives, and trans men had to marry women and be strong Christian husbands, which is like the weirdest and most surreal form of trans-inclusive misogyny I have ever seen. I want to come for it, but I'm having a hard time, because accepting someone's gender, great. Being super pushy about your gender roles is still weird. Like, if that's what you think is right, then find a partner who shares the same values so you can live your life like this. You know? But just going around kind of trying to force that ideal partnership that for you seems ideal onto everyone else just seems weird. It seems really weird. Like, great, at least you're not a transphobic, which is really great, but like, what? I'm not sure I get it. I still prefer this to the hateful Christians who want to push these gender roles and hate trans people, you know, so, you know, but it still seems kind of weird. Hey, who's the new guy? Oh, he's just my emotional support frog. Why are you so shocked? Like, that's just, like, a lot of people have emotional support animals. So why not let the gay chameleon have an emotional support? frog as like an emotional support animal. You know, that just seems fair. He's very cute. Does he have a name? Or she? Name and pronouns, please. For the emotional support frog, please. Oh my god, you're straight? We have to play football and go hunting sometime. Oh, I have a cousin who's straight. I should introduce you. What are you talking about? I'm not a heterophobe. One of my friends is straight. Oh my god, I've always wanted a straight best friend. But how did you know you were straight? You don't look straight though. Okay, I'm okay with straight people as long as they don't hit on me, lol. Are you sure you aren't even a little bit gay? Did you have a bad relationship when you were gay? How do you know you're straight if you never tried being with someone of the same gender? It's okay that you're straight, but you shouldn't talk about these things around children. But have you tried not being straight? Please, no touching. How am I supposed to explain the straight lifestyle to my kids? I just love that people went with it and just kept adding the silly, really weird things people say to queer people and to be like, but have you tried not being? Is it just because you had a bad experience with a man? Is it just because you haven't found a girlfriend yet? Like, I can find you a pretty girl. It's like, people are so weird about it. And I just love that y'all went with it and just pulled the Uno reverse card and kept slapping the Uno reverse card in their face, basically. I'm here for it. If you have more funny things like this, feel free to leave them in the comments. I know I rarely read my comments. I always say I will read my comments, but then I keep forgetting. I'm really sorry. But you know, if you have more funny things like these, leave them in the comments and I might actually remember to check them out this time. Love is love means loving your gay ass self too. And love is love meaning loving your trans ass self too. Basically, if you want to go around being like, love is love, which is fair, you know, if you support queer people, then maybe you're the first queer person you should also be supporting. You know, like supporting and uplifting other queer people, great, we love to see it. But you can't be leaving yourself behind, because you're just gonna burn yourself out, and that's not good for anyone. You know? So, putting yourself first and loving yourself first, as difficult as it is, sometimes, especially if you grew up in like a homophobic household or something and have always just tried to hide it and have a lot of like internalized shame or something, it might be difficult, I realize this, but you know, at least doing your best to love yourself and uplift yourself is still a good idea. And you should, because it's kind of queerphobic if you don't. It really is. You can't just be going around not supporting and not loving a queer person on purpose. That's just rude. You know, we don't do that around here. Anyways, that was all the memes. I was originally gonna do another queer video, but realized I had way too many random queer memes and no queer video scheduled in the next 2 months. So, you know, random queer memes I still have saved on my phone is now done. So now we can start new things. And I also feel like I haven't brought it up in a while, because I also haven't had art really in this video, just kind of comics. I have an email. I named it fanart. If you have fanart about me, I would literally just be impressed. But if you have other queer art you want me to include in videos, feel free to send it. I'll put the email on screen and in the description below. So if you have some art you want me to include, feel free. And I hope you're hydrated, and I'll see you guys next time.